Hello and welcome to or back to my channel. Today we're going to look at Biblical Femininity Bootcamp, which is a website and Instagram run by a woman named Louise. She expands more on what submission looks like for women, which I'm oddly excited for. I have to admit, saying, wives, you need to submit to your husbands gives me nothing. This still leaves me with unanswered questions, or does it? But it explains more than that command. That being said, let's jump on in. We're going to look at 5 of her posts today and try to see if we can gather more of what this whole submission business is about. So first, I would like to take a quick look at what traits Louise considers feminine. Someone did ask for a list of masculine traits, but Louise, whom I think secretly aspires to become Lori Alexander, said it's not for her to teach men. So, what traits should a woman aspire to? Encouraging, gentle, meek, chaste, quiet, fun, mysterious, content, optimistic, health-aware, thankful. Please let me know in the comments which traits you're surprised to see on here and how many you get. I'm at 7, so according to Louise, I'm more feminine than not. I would be surprised, but I know that being a feminist doesn't mean you hate feminine things, so... Now, on a more serious topic, this is a post she made about feminism. Feminism may preach that it does not debase men, but it does. We can see this in the thinking that a woman being submitted to a man is a low position, a degrading life, an insult. But consider this. If you treated your men as a king, you'd be a queen, not a low position at all. You'd be his closest friend, most trusted advisor, and honored with caring for his home and legacy. The more you honor your husband, the more honorable you feel being at his right hand. Assisting, helping, supporting. You're the first mate to a captain. You're second on the pecking order, not last. Hint, if you want more people to be above, have lots of cute babies. They're fun to make. Hold your head high, sister. A godly woman is honored and valuable, and her children rise and call her blessed. The home and the family and society fall apart without her. Now, does that sound like a low position? So there is so much I want to say here. First, are we ignoring that kings had mistresses? Second, if you consider yourself above someone else, can they really be your closest friend? Third, most trusted advisor. From other things Louise has posted, her wants and opinions are barely, if at all, heard, let alone trusted and considered. Fourth, are we ignoring that queens didn't raise their own kids and that they had maids? Also, honored with caring for his home and legacy? Isn't it also your home and your legacy? Should he not feel honored that you consented to marry him? Louise is really trying to put some fresh paint on old ideas that really need to fade into the past. And fifth, interesting choice of wording. Not, the more you honor your husband, the more he'll honor you. No, it's, the more you honor your husband, the more honorable you feel. Louise is really trying to sell the dying to self narrative. Sixth, if you want more people to be above, have lots of cute babies. Well, thanks for being honest about what this is really about. And finally, why is finding it insulting and or degrading to be told that I must submit to a man debasing to men? How does a woman valuing herself as an independent person reduce a man? Now, this is the post I was most excited to see. Louise gives an example of submission, and I've been trying to find one ever since I first learned about what submission was, however many years ago. I feel like I'm talking with my hand a lot. Anyway, so submission looks like a recent morning I had. Hubs and I woke up at 5. I am not in a season where I'm used to that right now, although sometimes I am. He rushed to get in the shower. When he popped out, I said, "When are you going? Because it's this day of the week when the kids and I drive you in so I can use the car for errands." He did not remember at all and was planning on leaving before 6 a.m. All the kids were asleep still, of course. I tried not to panic or worry. I said I would cancel my plans and reschedule for tomorrow. Nope, veto. Him. This team's gotta do what we gotta do. Let's go, leaving in 15 minutes. I was dying inside with all these excuses of how bad waking the kids up early and all these made up crash and burn scenarios, but I threw on a headscarf, dress, sweater, made his lunch quickly, and got the kids up and in the car by 5:45 a.m. Guess what? The day went fine. The marriage also went fine because when Mr. had a split decision to make, I didn't waste time arguing or butting. I trusted that if I just rolled with a punch, I could make the most of it. I avoided starting an argument. I showed up cheerfully to the kids who did not give the bad attitudes I imagined. We had a great day. Submission displays trust. Submission doesn't go but. Submission rolls with the punches. And if the stuff hits the fan, well, that's life. That'll happen anyway. Can't avoid it always. So yeah, I'm really glad someone finally showed an example of submission, because this just submit wasn't helping me. And yeah, it's great. You avoided an argument and had a good day, but I can't help but notice he's the one who forgot. He's the one who decided you wouldn't be doing your errands the next day instead, although you were fine with rescheduling. You were the one who got 4 kids ready and made his lunch after his shower. Where was he during all this? He's the one who made the executive decision that you would do your errands today, even though you were fine to do them tomorrow, and he couldn't even help? If he had said okay to you doing the errands tomorrow, you could have avoided an argument and stress. Also, how is this being treated like a queen? Though Louise and Rebecca, I'll link a card to my video on Rebecca Barrett, use different reasons to argue for female submission, I would also like to ask, how is this logical? What is the reason behind giving your wife 15 minutes to get herself and 4 kids ready, in addition to making your lunch? Especially if she could have just done her errands the next day. I mean, this reads like a power trip. That said, this comment caught my eye. I truly want to submit. The issue, though, is that my husband's requests are a lot of the time unreasonable. He expects a lot. So much sometimes I honestly can't perform. What is your advice then? Louise's response: unreasonable or a lot is fairly subjective, but I'm thinking of times I've been very, very overwhelmed. What I do is do my very best with all my might and make sure I express that I do want to do what he's asking for. When I fall short, I make sure not to criticize his request and nicely say that I really tried, and is there a way he can help me figure out how to do it better? So what I get from this is that though men are to be the leaders of the home, both physically and spiritually, you must do anything to avoid giving them fault. If a request from him isn't done, it's because of your failure, not because his ask was unreasonable or impossible. And then you must soothe his ego by asking for his help with your failure. Now, this following post shines more of a light as to how the wife-husband dynamic is supposed to work when in submission. Ladies, do not let spiritual people tell you to check in on your husband. Do not take their advice how to encourage him to be more spiritual or flee temptation or be a better leader. Consider this. What other relationship with authority would this be acceptable? Here are such relationships the Bible shows us. Employees to employers. Is it your job to check in on them? Kids to parents. Do you want them checking in on you? The church in Christ. Squiggly face emoji. Wives to husbands. Follow the logic. Do you want to help him flee temptation? Have a lot of sex with him. Make it your idea even. Want him to be more secure and confident in his leadership? Compliment him. Be a willing follower with a cheerful attitude. Do you want him to read his Bible more? Pray for him. Ask him spiritual questions that he'll have to then find an answer for. Do you want him to raise his voice less at the kids? Teach them to behave and honor and respect their father. None of these require a spiritual reminder or encouragement from his wife. You suggesting and nudging is you trying to be the leader. That's not your job. Wow. In Louise's world, men are very delicate and must be handled with care, lest their fragile ego come crashing down because their wife dared to question a decision. I don't like this underhanded way of convincing someone to do what you want. If you want something, come out and say it. Also, sex won't keep someone from cheating if they want to. And if they do, it's not because their spouse failed to have enough sex with them. Cheating is the fault of the cheater. But yes, heaven forbid that you dare suggest anything to him. Everything must be arranged so as not to offend your God, the husband. We're just following the logic. And finally, I imagine if you're a submissive wife, this following post is probably very useful. Have you ever heard, don't pray for patience? God will send frustrating things to practice patience. It is tongue-in-cheek and doesn't hurt to smile at. But patience is a virtue. The Bible tells us to let patience have her perfect work, so we know God does want us to have it and keep it growing. Yet, so often we are striving at things that frustrate us, lose our patience, then feel beat up because we didn't handle it well. It's not that I don't seek to work on my patience capacity, but I have learned that one way to reduce immense amounts of frustration is to lower my expectations. You know I'm not for picking on our husbands at all, but as a simple observation, I'm sure 90% of us have one who enjoys placing his clothes right next to a laundry basket instead of in it. Don't be annoyed, just know he is literally incapable of getting them inside. Who cares why? Frustration solved. With the kids, they are messy when they eat. Of course, help teach them the ways to get the food actually in their mouth, but you can't be nearly upset if you change your mindset to they're actually incapable of this at this age. It's not an insult to the people in those examples. It's just a matter of your own mindset and helping yourself out. You'll be less frustrated and the people on the receiving end will enjoy your extra piece as well. Everyone is blessed. So by all means, if it helps you keep your temper with your kids, remember that they're incapable of a task of their given age. But your husband isn't your child. He's a grown adult. If he can put his clothes beside the hamper, he can put them in the hamper. And for the life of me, I can't understand how it's considered domineering or nagging to ask your husband, who theoretically loves you and wants you to be happy, to make the extra effort to ensure the clothes go in the hamper. And though Louise says otherwise, this is an insult to your husband to consider him incapable of a simple task. It's infantilizing, and I kind of wonder if she does get frustrated with that, and this is her small way of expressing it. So this is exactly what I was expecting. At least Louise doesn't claim that being at submission doesn't make you a doormat, but I sense some sort of passive aggressiveness from her towards her husband at times. But hey, if she wants to live this way, that's her choice. So Louise is free to live this way if she chooses, but I would like to note she has feminism to thank for the fact that she doesn't have to. And no matter how much she dismisses it as unnecessary, it's still the reason her husband can't mistreat her without repercussions, and the reason she could leave if she wanted without it following that she would lose her kids. And if you're about to write a comment about how I'm assuming her husband abuses her, I'm not assuming that. However, power corrupts, and I haven't seen anything to indicate her husband has even a basic respect for her as a person. I do take objection to Louise preaching this as the way to live to be happy and fulfilled, biblical or otherwise. I also have some questions about a few things she says, but that's for another video I'm working on, where we take a deeper look at Biblical Femininity Bootcamp. And that is it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you would care to do so. Leave a comment below also if you would care to do so. I've also linked my socials below if you'd like to follow me for, I don't know, stuff. Anyway, have a good day and I will see you in the next video.